You must also choose and express a sophisticated theme to do with your area of study. So this means not trying to address your entire area of study, but narrowing it down to a sub-theme and coherently addressing that throughout your story. You can use your plot as a vehicle for your theme. You must also use your plot to demonstrate your emotional maturity and social conscience. It's this type of emotional maturity which the marker is really interested in reading and makes you stand out if you have a serious topic which is interesting, engaging, and highly relevant. You must make a statement which you think society should know. Think, what do you think needs changing in the world, and write a story about that. For example, if your area of study is the migrant experience, you could write a story which expresses the hard way in which migrants are treated when entering Australia. You must also choose a format for your story. Now, in some exams, you're not going to be lucky enough to just get a short story. You might be specifically asked to write in a different text type. However, some exams give you the option of choosing a text type, and in that case, you must make a decision about which text type is best for your theme and message, as well as what you think you can write correctly. This means that it's important you understand the structure of all text types, so that if an exam situation pops up, you can easily deal with that situation. So, what text types can you choose from? In creative writing, you can choose from a basic short story, a letter writing, journals, diary entries. Letter writing. This is a form of old-fashioned communication. And there are a number of types of letters which you can utilise in your exam. Firstly, the personal letter, which is an intimate discussion of one's personal life with a friend. Contrasting to this, we have the formal letter, which is cited in the question as its purpose. For example, you might have to convince an official of your point of view. Letter writing also has a very distinctive structure, which you must adhere to ensure that you're not just writing a story and disguising it as a letter, but you're really following the structure of letter writing. This means at the top of the page you put your street address and the date, as well as the details of the addressee. You also need to use paragraphs and structure just as if you were writing a short story. You then close with a summary of your argument or personal regards to the person you're writing the letter to. You then sign off with your name, but don't use your real name as you need to be anonymous to the Board of Studies in your exam. You can also use one letter or a series of letters. One letter is advisable if your single character is the focus of the story and you have a single purpose, such as persuading or convincing someone of your point of view. However, you can also use two personas who write a series of letters to demonstrate a change over time. For example, if your area of study was change, rapport between characters, such as if your area of study was belonging and you wanted to demonstrate relationships, and characters from novels. Journal writing is also an alternative text type which you can use for creative writing. However, it's important that you have a clear reason for writing a journal, not just ramblings about the things you did that day, but have a narrative planned and a really structured purpose. This means you must have an interesting persona to tell your story, one with a distinctive voice, using interesting language features, maybe things like accents, and a distinctive name to demonstrate the wider elements of your story. You must give a sense of reflection and judgment of events, not just record them, but really demonstrate through the voice of your character your emotional message. And it's important to note that if there's more than one entry, they should reflect a process of change. So as the character continually writes in their journal, they must be evolving and changing as they come back to their journal each day. The structure of the journal is also significant, and you need to follow this to have a high-end response. This means including things like date, time, entry number, and the weather. Also, you should include action and suspense so that your journal is something worth recording. You should also give enough orientation that the story can be quickly gathered. So that means making flying references to past events and mentioning people who you've perhaps not introduced to give a snapshot in the character's life. You should then sign off with name, serial number, position, and rank. and employing this structure in the journal is just as important as ensuring you have a creative narrative to go inside it. So, that brings us to the end of this second lesson on creative writing. What we've learned today is that we can widen the scope of our characters, plot, and structures to make sure that we really answer the question and fit the stimulus. In addition, you've learned about the different text types which you can use to ensure that you will never be surprised in an exam situation.